What's up, everybody? In this video, I'm going to be talking about a few key points to keep in mind when you buy your first investment property. These are basically my secrets when it comes to buying multifamily. So stay tuned. So what's up, everybody? Henry Eisenstein here. And if you don't know who I am, I've been a part of over $400 million worth of real estate transactions. And I do these videos because I just love to treat people like my family and my loved ones, and I just love giving away information for free. In this video, what I'm talking about is buying your first multifamily property and a few key secrets to pay attention to, or to at least keep in mind, all right? Let's dive into point number one, which is price per unit. If you know your markets, the price per unit can be an easy, simple way where I don't even need to see the property. I know if I want the deal or not. Because I'll give you a quick example. I was looking at a property not too long ago. I was talking to a person over the phone. This person had about 120 units up somewhere up north, about 45 minutes away from me. And I was talking to the person over the phone, had a great conversation. And so I was like, okay, what were you looking to sell the property for? And they basically said, listen, I'm not really looking to sell it, so I'm looking to get around $350,000 a unit. They didn't even tell me a price. They just said, I want $350,000 a unit. The reason why he's basically saying this, because I know that market and the average unit in that area, and he had mixed 1 and 2 and 3 bedrooms, which by the way, we're going to get to in a second. But the point that I'm trying to make is that the average mixed building only sells for about $200,000 a door. $200,000. So this guy wanted nearly double the average property value. Now listen, even if this property brings in a 6 cap at $350,000 a unit, it's a rough deal, because here's the thing. I want you guys to pay attention to this point, okay? What I typically am buying are value add opportunities. And what I would recommend for you to buy are value add opportunities where we're buying properties at a discount, which means that we cannot buy properties at ultra retail. You know who does that? BlackRock, okay? Huge asset management companies are buying properties at crazy retail numbers. If somebody tells me $350,000 a unit, when the average is $200,000, he's not really looking to sell the property. I had somebody call me up the other day and say, hey, I have a property, happen to be another 10 family. The guy wants $80,000 a unit. Guess what? I know the area. The average unit sells for probably $175, $180 a unit, okay? For the, I think it was all 1 bedroom. So guess what? $80,000 a unit, freaking home run. I was like, listen, I don't even need to see it. Make him an offer right away. If you want to make money in real estate, you really need to be buying at a discount. So first and foremost is price per unit. Second most important thing when it comes to investing in multifamily is the income of the property. When you're buying property, and let's say you find a property that's at a discount. I'll give you an example right now. I have an 8-unit property that I'm looking at right now, and the property brings in $0. It brings in nothing, not a zippo, because the property's 100% vacant. A bank, when they look at this property, is going to have an issue with valuating the property at what anything the seller wants. I don't care if the seller was even looking for $10 a unit. The bank's gonna be like, well, it brings in $0, so how much is the property really worth? This is an interesting thing because it does depend on how much money the property's bringing in. The point that I'm really paying attention to is the price per unit, because if he said to me this, I wanna sell this property for $100,000 a door, okay? 4.2 million, 42 units, $100,000 a door. The property only brings in $50,000 a year. I know the area. That property can easily be worth $250 a door, $300 a door. I don't care if it's only bringing in $50,000. Heck, I hope if it brings in $0, that'd be great. I wish it was vacant. Right? That like the other building. That would be amazing if I was buying it vacant, because then I could gut renovate the whole building and sell it for twice the price, right? Or 3 times the price nearly. So it's more about the price per unit than it is the income, but income is very, very important to pay attention to because of the key factors of this. Because if you find a property where the property is bringing in crazy cash flow right now, like it's an 8, 9, or 10% cash flow, okay? Or cash on cash return right now. That can be really good. However, there's typically a reason why you're going to be buying a property at a cap rate of 8, 9, or 10%, or have a cash flow right away of 8 or 9 or 10% or higher. Because that means you're probably buying in an area that's probably a D or a C class area, which means that it's probably not that great, and it probably doesn't have high levels of appreciation, and you're probably gonna have a very low per unit price. What I would recommend is this. All right, so last thing I'm gonna say when it comes to the income of the property is that making sure that you pay attention to the average rent per unit, okay? Because again, just like the price per unit, the average rent per unit is very, very important to pay attention to. Because I'll give you an example. That 42 unit building, you know why it's interesting to me is because that property is it's rented at probably 40 cents on the dollar of what it can be rented for. The rents right now are like $1,000 per unit, and they can be easily increased to, obviously once the tenants leave, you're not gonna be able to jack the rent up to triple, right? But you're talking about somewhere between $2,500 and $3,500 per unit, depending on the unit. So from $1,000 to $2,500 to $3,500 is a crazy increase when it comes to the average. That means the net operating income from $300,000, imagine that at a 3x income. That means a net $900, okay? Obviously, you're gonna have some higher expenses, but just make it as a quick example. If you have a net $900 on a building, the valuation is going to be twice of what you're purchasing for, which is an insane amount of value add that you're going to be able to create here. So those are just something to pay attention to when it comes to the income of the property, okay? Price per unit, income of the property, and the average rent per unit. Very, very important to pay attention to, okay? Point number next, like this is where kind of like the income pays attention to the next part, which is how much value add opportunity is there in the deal. This is exactly what we're talking about. When you're paying attention to the either price per unit, the income of the property, and the average rent per unit, you're going to be able to kind of connect the dots and say, okay, well, when I create this new value, when I renovate the property, when I re-rent the property, when I stabilize the property at its new highest and better use of the property, right? Renovated, re-rented, everything like that. What is the value of this property? That new value, you're going to have to make sure you plug those numbers into a deal analyzer. If you want access to my deal analyzer, the actual analyzer that I use, the spreadsheet that I use, make sure you click the link in the description down below. I have it for you, no problem. Because depending on how much upside is in the deal is going to tell you if you should do the deal or not, okay? You can't do the deal based on today's values. It's just like most of the time you're not doing that. You're doing it based off of what it can become. Because if you're just paying attention to what it is today, most deals won't make 100% sense. Some of them will, right? Some can make sense, but you're not really buying a piece of real estate for today. You're buying it for 10 years down the road of what it'll be worth. So you have a massive, an awesome asset that's paying a cash flow and have a lot of equity in the deal. That's why you're buying real estate. All right, so point number next is how many investors do you know that would be interested in this deal? This is an easy way for me to know if I should be going into the deal or not, which is like, I'll throw it out to a couple investor friends of mine. I'll send them in the deal and just be like, hey, what do you think? If all of them are like, this is the best deal in the freaking world, damn, I'm doing this deal tomorrow. Like, where can I send you money? Like let's do this tomorrow, or I'm making an offer right now. Guess what? You should probably buy the deal. However, I've sent deals over and said like, hey, I think this, this is actually a pretty good deal that came across my desk. And I sent it out to, 4 or 5 or 6 investor friends that I have where we all send each other stuff. Guess what? I sent it over to them and they're like, this deal sucks. This is terrible. You didn't, what about this, this, and this? And I may have not seen it, right? They're being able to help me bounce ideas off of them. And like, based on what they're thinking, there's also times where I'll send it to them. They're like, oh, I would never do this deal. They'll tell me why. And it made no sense. And I was like, okay, well, I'll still do the deal because that doesn't bother me. Point number next, don't be emotional. So listen, be okay with letting some deals go. I look over thousands of deals every single month. And it's important to understand, like, I'm not buying thousands of deals. There's a lot of deals that I'll look at, analyze the numbers, I just won't do the deal. And it's okay. It's more than okay. Matter of fact, obviously the best investors in the world are not buying every single deal. So do not get emotionally attached to a deal. If it does not make dollars, it does not make sense to buy. That's a very quick, easy thing to remember. If it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense to buy. That's it. Guys, like, plug it into the deal analyzer, and if it computes that it makes sense, buy the deal. If you plug it into the deal analyzer and it computes the numbers and it doesn't make sense to buy it, don't buy the deal. Simple as that. And especially if you're going to send it to a bunch of people that you know, who you trust, are very seasoned in real estate, and they don't think it's a great deal, and you're still attached to it emotionally, you gotta ask yourself, what's really the point of being so attached to it? Pay attention to those couple things. Don't be emotional. If it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense to buy. But quick side note on that, if it doesn't make sense to buy, what it could make sense to do is broker or wholesale the deal out. So what I'll do a lot of the time is that no matter what, I'll try to lock up a deal at the best price that I possibly can, and then I'll sell the entity off. I'll wholesale it. I'll broker it. It just depends on whatever can make me the most amount of money and will give me the least amount of stress, right? So just because you're not going to buy it doesn't mean you can't make money on it. And if you want to learn how to make money on those deals, this is something that I talk about in all my coaching programs. So make sure that you schedule a call in the description below, ASAP. We would love to support you, okay? Point number next. We're talking about the BRRRR strategy. So if you don't know what the BRRRR strategy is, it's buy it, renovate it, re-rent it, and refinance, okay? So the point of this strategy, though, is that you can actually recycle money. It's the art of recycling money in the real estate world, which means that, again, you're buying a deal, you're going to put some debt on it, but because you renovated it, which means that you probably increase the value because you can rent it for more money, again, increasing the value of the asset because the more money it brings in, the more money it's worth. Now you can go refinance the property at a higher valued than you bought it for, right? So because you can refinance it more than you paid for it, you're going to be able to pay off not this loan and a couple dollars of your down payment, and you're going to be able to recoup some of that money during that cash out refinance. There's not a lot of properties where we're going to get 100% BRRRR, but what you'll do is you'll find an opportunity where you can get at least 50 to 80% of your money out of the deal pretty regularly. And if you can get 50% to 80% of your money out on every single deal, Just understand, like, that's pretty freaking good, okay? Where you can recycle 50 to 80% of your money over and over and over again. That's where it's like just unfreaking believably powerful. And if you want to learn how to do this is exactly what I talk about in my coaching program. So make sure you go on the link in the description down below and you schedule your free call. Last thing I'm gonna say when it comes to buying your multifamily. Number one, if you have not yet bought a property, okay, this is gonna be your first property and you don't have a primary residence because you've been renting, buy a 4-family property with an FHA loan. It is the easiest, simplest, crazy, brilliant thing that could ever happen. Guys, do you understand? Could you imagine? Like, think how stupid this is, okay? I'll give you an example with the property I bought. My first 4-family property I bought was $750,000. This is a 4-family property in a great location. I did a burr on it, okay? Here's what's so freaking crazy about it. I put 30 grand down on a $750,000 asset. What stock, what gold, what asset class could you freaking buy at that kind of discount rate where you can spend 30 grand to buy $750,000 worth of an asset? I mean, that's freaking amazing. So if you're not taking advantage of an FHA loan as your first way to buy an investment property, you're missing out, okay? I buy everything right now with hard money. It's typically the way I buy all the deals that I bought recently, right? All the deals that we continue to buy, I typically will buy with hard money. If you have not bought an investment property yet, but you're looking to do so, and that's why you're watching my video, and for some reason you're not looking to live in a multifamily property, I can understand, but I want to talk to you right now. If you've yet to buy a property, listen to this. Take a moment. And yes, I want you to take everything you just learned and use the analyzer and all that kind of stuff. But stop thinking you're going to buy a home run for your first property. It should be good, but it doesn't have to be great. Just get your feet wet. Go through the deal. Because if you buy a property at a discounted rate, okay, where like it's just the price per unit is really, really good, just buy the deal. Based on the fact that you can increase the value per unit down the road, just that alone will allow you to refinance it and pull out some money in a cash out refinance, and you're just going to go out and buy your next deal, and then your next deal, and then your next deal. Just go out and pull the trigger already. Go out and buy your next deal, because I promise you, the only time you're ever going to regret something in real estate is you're going to regret not buying enough, right? Or not buying more, or not buying in general. It's not wait to buy real estate. It's buy real estate and wait. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I gave a lot of information away. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It would really support me and everything we're doing here on the channel. And other than that, guys, I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.